Welcome to another series of Notes of Interest. I'm the Anthony Charles. Today, joining us is a good friend from Barbados as we try to touch base with the other islands through the region. We have Pamela Eversley. Pamela, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Dave. I am well, thank you.
Okay,
How
so
are
good
you
to have
today?
you on. So good to have you on Notes of Interest. Today, we want to just touch base with you over in Barbados, find out what's happening on the ground there, how you and the people of Barbados coping through the COVID-19 pandemic, and we'll just wrap for a few.
That's perfectly fine. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, welcome. So, what's the feeling like in Barbados at this time? Uh, how did the country and the communities uh, embrace or react to this COVID-19 pandemic and shutdown?
Well, as you can just imagine, having your whole world turned upside down can be a little bit taxing. Or I think having to, first of all, we have, let me just say that we have an excellent group of leaders who, before we actually had a problem or before the COVID-19 actually came here, they suspected or recognized what was happening on the world stage and started putting things in place for us as a
Okay,
country not to have a greater negative impact. So our leaders were able to put some, we had food, we had kits, we had started preparing a place for folks to be if they were infected, and so that was really good. And then when it actually happened, we have um, a situation where I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel because I knew that my country had prepared. So then, so the situation now where we are on the 24-hour lockdown.
right.
Yes, I can't go out my house as I would like. We have beautiful systems in place where it's alphabetized, and 2 days a week, I can go out of my house legally. Um, and that system seems to be working pretty okay. Of course, we have all the long lines of supermarkets. That's across the world. It's not unique to Barbados. Of course, our people are going to have a problem with it because we're accustomed to our freedom. We're accustomed to just going where we want to go, when we want to go, stay as long as we want, So, of course, there's going to be a negative impact like that emotionally. But our systems have been put in place quickly, and our citizens are by and large um, sticking to them. At least I am.
Right. So
And
you mentioned 24 hours lockdown. How long have you guys been on 24 hours lockdown?
2 weeks. This
Okay.
is
Okay.
we've been there 2 weeks, and we have until we're back out on the fourth. We should be on the 4th of May.
Okay.
Until the 4th of May midnight. I think the 5th of May will be the first day we will be prayerfully back out on onto our regular schedules, to not regular schedules but limited movement.
Okay. 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 Um, and you have 2 days a week that you would actually go out and do shopping,
Two
or
half days.
2 half days. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
let me not say 2 half days. It's yeah, okay. So I can go out on Wednesdays because I have an E. The
Hmm.
supermarket time for me is 8 to 11, and then on Saturday evenings, and I can go to the bank between 9 and 1.
Okay.
And so it's A B today, and then C all the way down to another letter tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, sorry. And then there are certain days for older people. There are certain days for our essential services. So it's scheduled that everybody has a time, and special consideration is given to special persons in our community. But
Oh,
speaking of
excellent.
community, our community spirit has been really good. Lots of initiatives have been put in place by private citizens as well as our government to help those who are disenfranchised at this time, like the older folks who live alone, who don't have someone to take care of them, families who are being affected, sorry, by the 14,000 persons who are now currently unemployed. So systems have been put in place so that they've been given food, or utility companies have also looked at being more lenient in terms of payment of the utility bills. Banks have also looked at, being lenient with regards to mortgage payments and those responsibilities there. So together as a community and as a country, we are helping each other to weather this particular storm, and it's beautiful to see how things are flowing. I'm not saying that it's 100%, but
Hmm.
I think sufficiently enough that we, as a people and as a country, we are taking care of ourselves. And as you can
Okay.
see, we're also taking care of other people as well, with that whole Trinidad situation, and we have all other. But our leaders, I must say that our leaders are doing a fantastic job. We are so pleased with how they're handling the situation, and I think because we have that strong leadership and that decisiveness, that the people are less prone to, feeling, frazzled, or are more anxious than we already are.
Excellent. So, Pamela, you work at the University of the West Indies. I understand that your university has put together a collection of webinars to inform people as to what's going to happen now, what may happen post COVID-19. You're looking at tourism, you're looking at human resource, you're looking at economic and financial planning for the future. Could you just touch on that for just a short bit?
Well, yes. The Surgical Kafer School of Business, we are, and at this time we recognize that people need information, and they need to be, when you're anxious or when you're feeling, when you're in a situation where you don't have a whole lot of control, you need to know what's going on, and you need how to manage that for yourself. So at the business school, we had one seminar last week. We looked at coping with anxiety, and
Wow.
anxiety on a
Okay.
personal level and then on a professional level, and that was very profound. Where we
Right.
said, if you control what you can control, and what you can't control, well, you can't control it. So you focus on what you can control, put measures in place, and create a system for yourself where you can manage. So get a routine and maintain that routine, and that helps on a personal level and also on a professional level as well. So this week we're going to be looking at planning now. So we're looking at more the financial side, personal and professional finance.
Mhm.
We're going to be looking at that with Professor Justin Robinson and Marcia Cyrus over on Friday at 10 a.m. And then the following week, we're going to be looking at e-commerce and how the impact of the changes in our world, and how e-commerce has now become such a major part of who we are and moving forward to the future. So we're looking not just at the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic itself, but how you as an individual and you as a professional can move through it and come out on the other side, and what that other side could possibly look like for you, and then giving you some tools in how to manage through this process. So
Yeah.
your in the impact on you as an individual and as your business will be hopefully minimized with some of the tools that we equip you with.
So that's just one of the programs that Barbados, your community is putting forward for people, and that I guess touches on a regional level in terms of getting information out there and helping the communities to understand how they can cope and deal with this on a personal level, business level, and as a nation as well.
Absolutely. And we believe that with our citizens, with educated citizens who are aware and who are informed, then the countries or the region on a whole will benefit. Because if you have individuals who don't know, I'm unsure, they can't make wise, or they can't make proper decisions towards the future, because they won't know. So we have decided, okay, we need to, on our end as a business school, educate and inform individuals how they can move forward through this process. And I think with information, it's the best way.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So this happens on the 24th of
Yes,
April from 10 a.m. and you're
10
going to
a.m.
be
until
11:15.
yes, please. We go until 11:15,
Right.
and you can go to our website to register for the webinar. Or and
Right.
if the webinar has is fully subscribed, then you can always view us on our Facebook page, Tajiko Kefo School of Business on Facebook, where you can view. And if you can view you can be there live. And also when you go on our page, you can see a webinar that we did last Friday, and you can still be informed from that as well.
Excellent. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us. And
Oh, you're so
it's
very
really
welcome.
it's very, very good what's happening in Barbados, especially what you guys are doing at the University of the West Indies. I hope that we all can recover from this and come back to some level of normalcy. And I wish you and your family all the best. Thank you so, so much for joining us. And we'll definitely do something before the next webinar next week, maybe on Monday, actually speak with one of the speakers and get an idea of what the webinar would be like on next week, Monday, for our show. Yes?
Thank you so very much, Dave. But I also wanted to say, if I can, that
Mhm. Yes, sure.
the school is also do you know when you go through challenges, when you have situations where you might find yourself unsure, you look at self-reflection. And one of the tools that was given for coping with anxiety last week by Dr. Mia Amor Jules, she said
Mhm.
that self-care is important, and taking care of self. And so we also looked at the school. We also looked at how can we help persons to self care, and to self care is to figure out who you are. So we have looked at creating a series, which these are more on the professional development side, and that's starting on May 4th. So you can go to our website and you'll see some information about that coming up. By the end of the week, we should have that up there, and it's going to be
Mhm.
looking at the Meyer Briggs the MBTI EQI testing and assessments that you can do to see who you are as an individual, and how you'll know what your strengths are, what areas that you need to work on, and just basically help you to know yourself better in this
Right.
time, because you're at home. Lots of people are at home. They're not actually out in the open space, and a lot of folks are not coping. Some of them are coping well, some are not coping so well. So if you can know who get to know yourself a little bit and kind of go internal. So we have created some professional development courses that you can, short courses just for 4 hours, that you can go on our website and have a look at and see if you would like to subscribe to those. You're going to be limited numbers. So just have a look, because we believe in the holistic person, not just the academics, but also the social and professional aspect of the individual as well at the school. So to have a look, visit our website and have a look and see. And Dave, I hope to see that you have signed up, and to get a great appreciation for who you are, what your strengths are, and further develop yourself that way.
Well, I'm joining the Friday's webinar and also the one on tourism. I think there's one on tourism. So
Yes,
I'm
that's
going to
coming up
join
later in
that.
May. Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna post our list of webinars, and so that you can be informed of which ones you want to go to. But I admonish everyone, just come out on Friday and listen to Professor Justin Robinson. He's the Dean of the Faculty of Social Science and also the CEO of the school, and have a listen to what he has to say with Marcia. I'm sorry, what she has to
Right.
say on how to
And
plan.
Professor Robinson was supposed to join us today, but he had an emergency with his family. He had to take someone to the hospital. So we wish him well. We wish his family a speedy recovery, and we are really grateful that he was willing to come on, and we hope that we can definitely speak to him at some point. So
I'm sure he will.
yes, yes.
But thank
Thank
you
you
on his
so
behalf.
much. Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you so much for joining us. I love all of those things. I'm definitely going to sign on to tourism and Friday's webinar. And also, I'll check out the personal development modules that you have, the 4-hour modules that you have running as well. And the webinars are free. It's very important that people know they are free. So
Yes, the ones that are coming up on our Friday webinars are free. Yes, the ones that are
right.
coming up, the professional development ones have a small fee attached to them, but I believe that self care and self investment is a beautiful thing. So
Excellent, excellent.
we look forward to seeing you and your listeners.
Excellent. And UE, all classes are now online.
Yes, all of our classes are now online. We are on the main campus as well. Well, our business school is an online school.
Right.
But the main campus itself, all of the courses are online. A lot of our tertiary educations here in Barbados are all online. A lot of the secondary schools are now doing Google Classrooms, and even primary schools as well. Everybody is now trying to keep some semblance of normalcy through interacting that way and through the online process.
Excellent. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Have a wonderful day. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Thank you, Dave. And you do the same. I love your initiative. As I told you, I love the name Notes of Interest. It's beautifully very creative. Keep doing the good work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
You're
much. That
welcome.
was that was Pamela Eversley, and she is the coordinator out there in the University of the West Indies. And we were just touching base with our Caribbean people to find out how they're doing. Right now, we're going to bring on the general manager of the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Brian John. Mr. John,
Good morning. That everybody's safe.
let's just get him on there.
To all, I everybody's safe and safe. Also trust that
Just holding on to add
all.
Mr. John to the stream.
Uh,
While that's happening, so it's very, Mr. John? Ah, great. There he is.
good morning, all.
So
I trust that
Friday
everybody.
happens.
I trust that everyone is safe. I trust that all my staff are keeping safe and being safe and adhering to all the protocols necessary. As you know, the NFG is trying its best to be innovative in the face of COVID, and hence our live show, Notes of Interest, directed by our one and only marketing officer, Dave Charles. So, good morning to all. There we are. I was not hearing you.
How are you doing right now?
Um, I'm doing fine. Was in a roadblock this morning. Was in a roadblock this
Yes,
morning.
because you had to cross the border.
Yes.
You're now in the famous 759, is it?
Yes, yes. But the joke is, as I was approaching the officer, I said, "Good morning, officer. How are you?" He looked at me. Then I pull out my envelope. He said, "You just showing me an envelope." I tell him, "Sorry, there's a letter there." And then he told the other guys, "That's the GM of farmers. Let him." Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm happy you were able to get down there this morning.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I just wanted to speak to you for the next 5 minutes. We just wanted to get a feel as to a real good understanding of what's happening in terms of the waivers again, the moratorium, and what's going to happen after, when people come back into some level of normalcy away from their waivers and the moratoriums? What exactly is going to happen in terms of their loans?
Well, first, once again, we have to differentiate between the two terms, right? The moratorium is where interest is paid, but the interest component of the repayment is paid, but the principal component is postponed.
Yeah.
The waiver is where both the interest and the principal is stopped. In
Yeah.
other words, during the period of the waiver, the person pays zero.
Right.
But the period, the loan just continues. So therefore, there's an extension. There needs to be an extension of the original term of the loan to allow for full repayment.
Okay.
For the moratorium, a number of scenarios exist. Since you're going to pay, the member is going to pay the interest and not the principal. There could be an option where the difference that has accumulated could be paid over the remaining term of the loan. So it's divided by the number of days. Or if the person is in funds, the person could just come and make good that amount in one lump sum.
Excellent, excellent. So at the end of the waiver period, the loan just continues for the period
It
that
just
was
continues. Just
right.
continue. Now,
And
I need to state one thing, right? In considering the two options, right, we have to look at the status of the member. So the case being presented by the member to us. If a member has been laid off, that such member has lost all income. Therefore, the option would have to be a waiver. If a member has a reduced income, well, what we do is we work out a scenario to see how the reduced income has impacted their ability to repay. So if in doing rudimentary exercise where you take, well, if the reduction in income is 40%, what it is, then let's look at the person's expenses and then apply the loan rate, and then you see. So you would know whether you should give that member a moratorium or a waiver. So there is some degree of flexibility based on the case presented to you.
excellent, excellent. Thank you. Very well explained. We thank you for joining us. We actually getting to the end of our time. Always a pleasure to have you on, Mr. John. And I see you doing a lot of exciting things for National Farmers. So keep up the great work. I think the team themselves are very excited. You could hear the feeling on the ground. So it's good to have, like our friend from Barbados, Pamela said, good leadership makes you relax. So thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you.
It's nice to hear that too. Good leadership makes you relax, but I hardly believe that people can relax under COVID. I mean, what I've noticed is an introduction of finance terms into COVID, which is basically more of a health issue. Every turn, every news clip that you hear, people are talking about the curve, flattening the curve and whatnot. And it brings a smile to my face because flattening curve and whatnot and dealing with curve is usually in finance.
Right.
But COVID has introduced so many new things to us. A new way of living, a new way of thinking, a new way of strategizing. Going forward, we could never be the same.
Indeed, we could never be the same, but it also allows people to actually go outside of their comfort zone for many of them and to learn new things and to connect with people in new ways. And to actually allow us to realize some of the things that we thought were restrictive actually benefits us in some way. So right now it's really the time for people to take hold of all the opportunities that they can take hold of and make the best of those opportunities. And I guess what UWI, University of the West Indies, is trying to do with its webinars and its personal development programs kind of speaks to that as well, because that was not something that existed before COVID-19. Mr. John, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too.
Always.
Bye-bye.
Jed, our backhand studio guy, thank you very much.